Hey there, this is Josh Friberg with the Abundant Agent, and today we're going to be talking about a conversation that's coming up in real estate every day right now with real estate agents, and that is the sell then buy conversation. Hey, I want to sell my house, but where am I going to move? And I got to tell you, I just got off of 5 phone calls today in a row with real estate agents from all over the country, from small towns, from big towns, and everything in between. And over again, they said, hey, I met with 2 sellers this week, 3 sellers, 5 sellers, and they all said the same thing, which is, I would love to sell my house, but where am I going to move to? And, in my market, in Portland area market right now, we're experiencing 0.8 months of inventory. As you know, that means there's literally less houses on the market available than the number of buyers that bought homes last month. There's more buyers for every house that gets listed. 2, 3, 4, 5, 30, 40 interested buyers. And so sellers, we can kind of understand where they're coming from. They're nervous, they're worried, hey, I could sell my house, but then what do I do? Where am I going to buy? And what I want to do is I want to walk you through a conversation that you can try having with one of your sellers. I actually shared this with an agent with me just today, and he immediately went out and had this conversation with his seller client. We'll find out soon what the results of that conversation were. But I want to imagine you're sitting down at a kitchen table with a seller, or maybe you're on Zoom with a seller talking with them about selling their property, but they haven't decided what the heck where am I gonna move to, and they're reticent, they're holding back from wanting to put their house in the market. So let's talk it through with them. And one of the things I think it's really important as a real estate agent you got to do is you've got to get in the mind of the seller. You have to empathize with them. And it's difficult for us as professionals because we're in it all day long. We really understand the how fast the market is moving, and all of the various things that go into this conversation. We understand all of them. Just intuitively and as part of what we do. But remember that your sellers don't, right? And the other thing is it's very emotional for them, and they have a lot of stress related to it and a lot of fear related to it. What we want to do is remove that fear, and one of the ways we can remove that fear is simply to explain the process as best we can. So let's talk through that with them, and I'm just going to talk to you right now as though I were talking with a seller. And it's going to look something like this. Hey, so thanks so much for bringing that up. I really love talking with you about this. And this is what I sometimes call the what do I do first conversation. What do I do first conversation? Because you've got 2 houses, right? Here's our little house that you live in now, and you're going to be selling this house, and you're going to be moving to the bigger house, right? It's even got a garage on it. This one's cool. Okay, so you're going to be moving to this bigger house here. It's got 2 windows, my favorite part of it. Okay, we're going to move into this bigger house. And right now, what you told me is, gosh, Josh, in a perfect world, I'd love to go out and I'd love to buy this house first and tell them, hey, I'd love to buy your house. I want to get a contract on it. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to sell my house next, right? I'm going to sell this house second. And while I'm selling this house, you just have to wait for me to come back and buy it after we've got the house sold. So I want you to think about this, friend. It is if somebody came and wanted to buy your house and they said, hey, we'd love to buy your house, but we got to go do this other thing first, right? We have to sell our house, or we got to go sell a car or a kidney or whatever. But we don't know if it's going to sell. We don't know how long it's going to take to sell. Well, think as a seller, you're probably going to want something for that additional risk that you're taking. And one of the things that a lot of sellers want for that additional risk is they want more money. They want more money. Now, here's the other thing, by the way, that happens, just so you know. This is what we in the business, we call this a contingent sale. Because, hey, I'll buy your house contingent on me selling my house, right? Well, here's the thing about a contingent sale is this seller can continue to market their property. They can continue to keep selling their property to other buyers. And if they get a better deal, well, they'll come to you and say, you have just 24 hours to remove your contingency or we're going to sell it to someone else. Now, if they do that, well, what's that going to do as you're trying to sell your house? Well, you're going to say, oh my gosh, we got to move fast. We got to drop the price. Or let's say you do find a buyer, right? And the pressure starts ramping up on this house and your buyer comes back and says, oh, by the way, we want you to put a $15,000 roof on the house. Well, now all of a sudden, maybe you're forced to do a repair that you didn't want to have to do, and it's costing you more money, right? So my concern is, and I just want to be really honest with you, is that if you try and go out and buy this house first and then sell this house second, is you're going to pay more money, you're going to be under more time pressure, and you may have to take less money on the sale of your house, right? And that's one of the biggest concerns I have if you're trying to buy your house first, go out and find the house you're going to move into, and then sell your house second. Here's the other thing, though. I want to ask you this question. Listen, if somebody came and gave you, I don't know, $8 million for your house, like, you would take it, right? Of course you would. You'd probably look at them and be like, can I get some stuff or do I have to leave now, right? Like, at some price, you'd be willing to move out no matter what. And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to help you get as much money as possible for the sale of your home. And so that's why I just want to run this past you and see what you think is, what happens if we decide to sell this house first, right? We're going to go ahead and sell this house first. Well, now we can take the time and we can apply some strategies that will encourage the market to give us the highest price possible. The other thing that you can do is you're really in control, right? Maybe, let's say you've got 3 or 4 or 5 different buyers that come and make offers on this home. Well, now all of a sudden, when somebody comes and asks for additional repairs, maybe you can say no, or you can negotiate for less repairs. Again, this is going to be giving you the highest price possible. Now, here's the other thing that's cool is related to time, is that you can say to this buyer comes and says, hey, I'm going to give you what you're asking for your house, or maybe I'll give you more than what you're asking for your house. And you can say, that'd be great. We would love that. But here's the deal. I'd like an additional, say, 60 days after you close to be able to stay in the house. Now, just so you know, in our market, it's actually taking about 45 days from the time somebody makes an offer until the house closes. And so if you take those together, you're looking at about 105 days from the time you agree to sell your house to somebody until you have to actually move out. Here's what's super cool about that. With an extra 105 days to work on it, you can take your time, you can find the right house, you can get a fair price for the house, don't have to overpay to mitigate the seller's risk. And now you're not under as much pressure. You can get the most money possible, the least amount of stress. And of course, right, at the right price, maybe you'd be willing to go live in an extended stay hotel for a couple of weeks, or live in your friend's guest room or in an RV for a while. In fact, that's what some clients of mine did recently. They actually chose to live in an RV for about 60 days while they were looking for that second house that they wanted to purchase. They really appreciated the time that it allowed them to keep looking until they found that perfect dream house that they were looking for. Well, anyway, based on that, it's still totally up to you. I just wanted to lay out both options for you as clearly as possible so that you can make a really great decision. So based on that, what do you think about the idea of listing your house first, getting on the market, say this week or next week, and go ahead and getting started on that process right away? So real estate agents, that's a great way for you to have a conversation, to just hand draw these pictures out, show them quite clearly the order that it happens in and what some of the consequences of that are. Ultimately, hey, your sellers are smart people. They can make their own decisions. However, it's on us to give them the best information possible to make a great decision. And I think this is a great way to have that should I sell first or buy first conversation with the sellers that you're sitting down with, particularly in these low inventory markets. Hey, if you are interested in more information about real estate and insurance agents and how they can be more productive at work, present at home, and purposeful in community, I'd love you to take a second and subscribe to our channel, like this video, and maybe share it with somebody who could use a little help getting those sellers to decide to sell first and then to buy. Talk to you soon.